All right, we're gonna try to inject some humor into this one. Gonna be a little bit funny. Hey guys, what's up? It's your man Pete. Just wanted to help you do some numbers here to figure out exactly how much money you need in order to buy $1 million property. And I know some of you may say, well, duh, Pete, $1 million. Yeah, but whose $1 million are we talking about here? No, it's not exactly that you need $1 million of cash to be able to buy $1 million property. You know, it's surprising that some people still think that way. Unless you're dripping in cash and you've got $1 million to play with, then of course, stop watching this video, pick up the phone and call me right away. But for most of you who don't have $1 million in cash, you know, we like to use my favorite word, which is borrowed funds, a mortgage, leverage. It's pretty much what all the cool kids have these days.
You remember back in the day, the old school days, you know, when they used to say debt was really bad. You don't want to have debt. You want to pay off your mortgage. You want to be completely free, fly like a bird.
Try living in 2022, brother, where everything costs a lot of money. So I'll break down for you the financial figures, the cash that you need to have ready in order to close on $1 million property. For those of you who know this already, well, this is just a nice little reminder for you. But for some of you who are thinking about trading up this year, it's nice to know how much money is going to need to be allocated in order to get the deal done. So we'll see you guys on the other side right after this. Okay, and we're back. So that magical word that we really like to use in the real estate industry is called leverage, where we're using somebody else's money in order to buy something. Of course, we still have to put some money down ourselves to prove that we can actually afford to buy it. But most of that money, especially when it comes to property, is borrowed funds. Of course, yes, who doesn't want to be debt and mortgage free? Because then every single dollar that you earn goes into your pocket as savings, you know, after you've paid off your living expenses. There's just not too many of those these days who are in that fortunate enough position. You've got to be a little bit older, but in fact, most baby boomers actually still have a mortgage. They're still paying it. So it's normal to have a mortgage. Don't be afraid of it, especially at interest rates that are record lows over the last, I don't know, 10 years or so. It's basically like free money, and who wouldn't want free money? So the point is that you don't have to use all of your cash if you've got excess cash. You just want to put the minimum down required in order for you to get the loan and in order for your monthly numbers to work, you know, in terms of paying the mortgage and paying your other expenses. For those of you who are wise and savvy, you know, maybe you actually want to put some of that money towards another property. Again, you know who you're going to call for that, right? Because you definitely want to be doing better than inflation, and real estate is definitely the way to go, especially here in the Greater Toronto area. Again, having no debt, no mortgage is actually, in fact, bad capital management. If you have excess capital or equity in your property, you definitely want to take some of that out, have it reinvested in other properties, and that will help you grow your wealth double or triply fast. Now, let's get onto the math for real, okay? So when you're buying a home that is $1 million or more, the minimum down payment that you need to have is 20%. So if we do the math, 20% of $1 million is roughly $200,000. So because it's $1 million property, banks and lenders won't allow you to do less than 20% down, because the idea is that you're buying $1 million property, you got to have the cash for it. If you buy anything less than $1 million, say it's $900,000 or $950,000, potentially you could still do 15% down, 10% down, or even 5% down. Then you'll have to pay the mortgage insurance attached to that. But when you get to the $1 million category, that doesn't apply. So the minimum you're gonna have to put down is 20%. So you will need at least $200,000 in cash. Most young people these days probably won't have $200,000 in cash just laying around, sitting under the mattress, or stuck behind brick walls. Unless you're a really high earning person and you're really good at saving, but that's pretty tough because the more money you make, the more money you spend. And then there's some of you who are crazy out there and you've been investing in like the meme craze, you know, investing in stocks, crypto, NFTs, and have done quite well, frankly. So those are one of the other ways that maybe you've made some money. But then eventually you do want to put that money into solid real estate that performs well, that protects your capital and protects your investment money. Usually the equity and appreciation that people have typically comes from a property that they bought years ago. So maybe they'll start with something smaller, like a one-bedroom condo or like a one-bedroom townhouse or something, and then over the years, as they're paying it down, they're paying the mortgage down with principal and interest. But then what happens during those years when the property goes up in value, that's called equity appreciation. And if you've been living in the property all this time, then all of that appreciation is completely tax-free for you, and you can use that money once you've sold your property or refinanced to purchase the new property. That's completely tax-free unless you've rented out the property to someone during that time. So that's typically where we see most people having the capital and the equity appreciation to be able to put down on their larger million-dollar property. Sometimes families are helping out too. So, in terms of household formation, people getting married, having kids, and they need to upsize, they need a bit more money. Sometimes money is coming from one side of the family, or sometimes money is coming from both sides of the family to support their kids so that they can expand and purchase something new. But typically, most of the time, I see it happening from people who've purchased something before, and the million-dollar property is usually their second or their third property. So again, that's part of the reason why the boomers are still paying their mortgage, because they have to take money out of their house and give it to their kids so they can buy something. So we love you, boomers, and we love you especially more when you give us large sums of money. Okay, so there you have it, guys. That's the end of the video. That's all you need to know. You just need to have $200,000 of down payment, and then you can buy your million-dollar property. Wait a minute. Cut. That's not what it says in the script. What? You're not done, are you? I was just messing with the people, man. Just trying to make the video a little bit more entertaining. You gotta be straight with the people. You gotta give them the cold, hard facts. Here, it's in the script. Just follow the script. Man, relax. I'm just trying to have some fun with the people here. Just do your job, man. That's why we write a script, man. I don't have all day for this. I gotta go pick up my kids. I gotta cook dinner. Gotta deal with my wife. Sheesh, this guy's so serious all the time. Come on, man. Come on. That's the producer, by the way. He's a bit of a hard ass and sometimes forgets who the boss really is. What'd you say? I heard that. Okay, all right, so back to the topic. So down payment, at least $200,000. The next big expense you're gonna need when you're buying a million-dollar property is land transfer tax. So if you're going to live in Toronto proper, you're gonna have to pay 2 land transfer taxes, which is a pretty hefty sum. When you're buying a million-dollar property, it's a little bit over $16,000 for the Toronto land transfer tax, which is the city tax, and then for the provincial tax, it's another $16,475. So you're paying close to $33,000 in land transfer tax, and this is something that you must pay if you're going to live in the 416. All right. But of course, if you move out into the 905 region, then you get to save on one of those taxes. You don't have to pay the Toronto transfer tax. You just have to pay the provincial one. So that's why people do that. Now on to the incidentals. So you're going to need a lawyer to close the deal. And these days, lawyers are charging anywhere between $2,000 and $3,500 for a purchase of a property. That's just one deal, okay? So if you need to sell your property as well, then that would be 2 deals for the lawyers. And, you could negotiate something, but typically on a sale, they'll probably charge you maybe around $1,000 to $1,500 for that. Another incidental charge that you may want to use is possibly hiring a home inspector, especially if the home is a little bit older. Now, that's a little bit challenging these days because properties are selling so quickly that oftentimes you don't even have the time to do a home inspection. You basically got to go through it with your agent, maybe go through it with a contractor if you know someone who's close to you. If you opt to do that, it's going to be probably around $400 to $500 for you to hire a home inspector to do it. I typically don't see people doing it all the time. Usually hire one for the house that they're really serious, really interested in. Just learn from that experience and then they won't hire them again. And then depending on the lender that you go with, you may even have to pay for an appraisal, which is another, I think, couple $100. So if we factor in all of these expenses, we're looking at $200,000 cash, we're looking at $32,000 and change for land transfer tax, $3,000 for a lawyer, and then if you're gonna go for a home inspector and need an appraiser, so that's probably gonna be another $1,000. So all in all, that takes us to $236,950. So in terms of cash, this is how much you're gonna need in order to close on a $1 million property with borrowed funds from the bank. You got to make sure that you qualify from a credit and income perspective. And of course, these are calculations again for Toronto proper 416. And of course, I'm not factoring in any renovations or new furnace you need to buy or an air conditioner or a new roof. Nothing like that. It doesn't factor in moving costs, okay? These are all discretionary. These are up to you because you could hire your cousin with the lazy eye to come in and help you move all your stuff, and all you gotta do is pay him with dinner. And that certainly doesn't include that gaudy chandelier you want to put in your bedroom or the flooring panels that you want to put on your wall because you want to be a YouTuber just like yours truly. And of course, it also doesn't include property taxes because property taxes are paid on a monthly or quarterly basis. So you'll probably need to factor in another $300 or $400 for a type of property that's at least $1 million. So that really sort of goes towards your monthly expenses and not money that you need in order to close a deal and buy a $1 million house. So that is what you need in cash. You need to qualify for the mortgage. I know it can be quite an intrusive process, but they only do it once every 5 years or once every time you need to purchase a property. So just submit all the paperwork, get it done, just be on with it. All right. So yeah, typically, if you're going to live in the 905, then you will save $16,000 on the land transfer tax. If you're living in the 905, you'll probably need to own a car or even a second car. So that's probably where the money's going to go. Hey, to each his own. Everyone's got their own different lifestyles and different arrangements for family. So that's why we've got everything here in Toronto. We've got suburbs, we've got city living, we've got everything. It's just a matter of you putting the money together and working really hard. But if you have not yet, please make sure you hit and destroy that subscribe button. Please please leave us a comment if you like videos like this, or you just like me performing in front of the camera, and let us know just how much you love our videos and our content here at Selling Toronto. And as always, if you're looking for friendly, professional, experienced service in the real estate industry, you know who to call. Contact information is in the description box below. It's also at the end of the video, or you can head over to our website where you can find our information there. Just search Selling Toronto or Pete Lee and you should be able to find us. So we'll see you guys in the next one. Thanks for watching. I appreciate you all and love you all. Bye for now. Wait a minute. You're not done, are you? Them happy, you know what I mean? You gotta give them what they want. Please, I'm begging you. What? What'd you say? I heard that.